Hello and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. I'm out of focus. I'll fix that in a minute.
Yay.
I'm Steve Boshear and I will be your game master for the evening tonight. We are playing Blades in the Dark. If you're not familiar with
Again.
this, if you're not familiar with this stream, this is where we try out, or in this case, return to a rotating stable of games with a rotating cast of players. Also on this same channel, we have a different stream on Friday nights, which is where we do our ongoing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game with none of the same players that you see here tonight, but with me in the DM seat there. We are returning to Blades in the Dark, as was mentioned. We played 3 games with these characters last year, and now we are back sometime later for our 4th. So guys, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves and your characters.
I'm Jason. I'm playing Severin Hell, the Hound.
I'm Cody. I'm playing Buck, the Cutter.
And I am Sarah, and I am playing Braid, the Whisper.
Ooh.
And we are the Tide Wraiths, and we are a crew of smugglers who smuggle out of the docks. I'm mostly prepared. Mostly.
Should be the theme of Monday nights, mostly prepared.
It has been a couple months. So,
Been a couple of years.
well,
Not since we played, just in general.
yeah. So we are working on, Steve has given us a couple upgrades for our crew. So we are adding an expert to our crew. At Cody's behest, we are adding this ghost woman that I apparently killed in our last game or caused the death of.
I'll recap that when you're done.
Okay, I don't remember much of it, but I mean, I'm sure it's very important to her.
You only killed her, man.
Like I said, I'm sure it's very important to her. All right, so she is going to be an expert. All right, I just need to be able to actually mark this down. So she needs to have a type, and we were looking to make her a pilot.
Cool. Yep.
The rest of the crew, chime in.
Yes.
Okay.
Go on.
Okay. Type. And she is going to have some edges and flaws. So when we create this cohort, we give them 1 or 2 edges and an equal number of flaws. Are y'all on the same page with me?
Yes.
That is page 96.
That was what I was going
I
to
am
say
also
next,
on
just
page
in case.
Yes.
What edges do you think we should go for?
I'm gonna roll a d4. Dang, that's crazy. She is tenacious.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
So edge.
Does anyone else like to roll the other d4? Wow.
I will roll the other D4. Oh, we have to give her an equal number of flaws, though, so we can
Yes.
do 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I would suggest, for the sake of time, that we just do 1 of each.
Sounds good.
That sounds good.
Yeah. And I'm going to propose, just based for story reasons, that her flaw be that she is unreliable, or that she is savage, because she's not happy that she's dead. She's not happy with us.
You know,
I think she's not happy with me.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I took her dancing. I'm pretty sure she's in love with me.
Yep.
What would a
I'm
tenacious...
going to lean towards savage over unreliable.
Okay, that's good. Let's do that. I don't think I could comprehend what an unreliable, tenacious person would act like.
Now, since Cody seems to be so close with her, Buck, or since Buck seems to be so close with her, Cody, what's this ghost's name?
Damn, that's crazy. Steve knows. Steve knows her name.
Jeanette.
Thank you.
See, I rewatched parts 1 and 2 to get a reminder of what happened. I missed part 3.
Well, this one is from part 3.
Yeah, I literally revile at the sound of my own voice, so I'm mostly going off of memory. And since this was like a year ago, I mean, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right, so here's my little recap for you guys. I've got a notebook. Part of watching the video for me was figuring out which of my 300 leather-bound notebooks I used. I saw this in my hand and I was like, oh, there's stuff in that, and I went and found it. Cool. So, you guys had a relationship with one of the many cults in the city of Duskwall, also called Duskwall, which was the followers of the Silent Song, and they came to you with a proposition from the Dimmer Sisters. Dimmer Sisters wanted you to pick up a large package from the Foghounds, which is another gang, and deliver it to them, to the Dimmer Sisters. You did that, despite your rule about never transporting people. You were pretty sure there was some sort of sentient being in the giant coffin-sized box that you transported. And it was not a person, but it was sort of telepathically demanding that you release it, which none of you did. And then
we didn't release it.
You didn't
we
release
him
it.
A little, in fact.
Yeah.
Our job.
Not the first time. You didn't bully anybody because he was just a voice from a box.
We are also by the book.
Jason,
Cody?
the stream just died and they're not moving anymore. And my visage isn't updating on the stream.
This is so weird.
That happens. Oh, what?
Oh, we're back.
I heard you guys the whole time.
The stream died.
Yeah.
Okay,
the stream was down.
I don't know why that is.
So
We lost internet connection again, babe. The internet went down.
It super didn't. I heard everything Cody and Jason said.
Well, our connection side lost. I lost connection.
Something weird's going on. Anyway, let's keep going. Hopefully that doesn't happen anymore. So what I was saying is, no, you didn't have that hassle with the first job. You didn't harass the passenger because he was just a talking box. But the second time, you came to the Dimmer Sisters and took this guy back to where you got him from. And this time, he was an enormous, weird, rubbery, waxy-skinned guy that you're pretty sure was a robot with a demon in it. In fact, Braid, with her spirit mask and incredible dice roll, learned that it was, in fact, a machine with a demon trapped inside of it, a fear demon, to be specific, because demons in this world all represent a specific ideal. This one was a fear demon, and you had seen that while demons generally do not possess a soul, this one had the souls of many dead people crammed into this machine with it. It was some sort of weird science experiment where a soulless being was given many souls and trapped in a robot. So that was your second job. Your third job, after a party, your third job was technically a party at which you would get a job. Yes, the party went well. You were offered 3 jobs. One of them was to assassinate the mayor, which you didn't do. However, you guys being the Tide Wraiths and unknown at the time, the person who threatened you in order to kill the mayor had you confused with the Wraiths, which is a much more well-known gang, and so now they're getting troubled for not having done the job that was assigned to you. So your third actual mission, the job you accepted from that party, was to deliver a ghost in a tube, which I forget what the word for it is, but it's a spirit jar, ghost in a tube, to a location far outside the city of Doskval. Let me bring up the little map here. Slightly higher map technology than last time. You can zoom in and stuff. So when we last left you guys, you have a mobile base of operations, a mobile layer on a big barge, which had been at the docks area, and you had sailed it down to Night Market to hide out between jobs. From there, you sailed up this canal, and your delivery was actually around this way and off the map a little bit.
Yep.
However, during that job, there were a couple of checkpoints from the Bluecoats. You bribed your way past them, and the demon ghost robot that you had ferried around during your last couple missions.
Did that thing get its knee shot out?
Well, I'm getting there. You had ferried it around during your last couple missions. It began following you on your third mission from the coast along this side. And yes, you did shoot out. You shot at its knee, and very little effect. But he was after the spirit jar that you guys were delivering. Long story short, you all ended up splitting up. Braid and Severin got off the boat. Severin ran off this way, parkouring, trying to distract the guy. There was this convoluted plan of Severin had the real spirit jar, but Braid had a decoy one. So Severin was making it really obvious that he wanted to be noticed in hopes that the guy would think that was an obvious decoy and then go after the decoy. And it didn't work because dice. And he chased Severin. And it was at this point that I offered Severin hell, the devil's bargain of, you can get an extra die to get away from this guy if you grab a random bystander and throw that person under his giant pistoning mechanical legs. And you did it.
Remember that.
You did it, and that is what killed this woman who is now the ghost Jeanette, who's your pilot.
There?
Yep. Are we gone again?
Cody, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You can see me moving, right?
Hello?
Yeah, okay, I see you moving up there.
You'll
Hello?
have to just watch that, because it...
Hey.
Oh, we're back.
I don't know what's going on. It's our whole internet isn't dropping out because I hear you guys say talk to us. It's weird.
I feel like I was watching Shadows of Arconia the other week, and this was happening.
Well, we were having trouble on Friday, but it was only Twitch. And Carolyn had looked it up and found that there had been some recent Twitch update, and this was like a widespread problem. Twitch was just screwing up. But we weren't losing, like Carolyn and I weren't losing connection to each other, even though she's remote on Friday. So I'm not sure what's going on.
Stream is officially offline, by the way.
I'm not sure what's going on. It still says streaming on my end. Let me look at Twitch.
I'll refresh mine. I mean,
no, I believe you. I'm going to look at Twitch anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's to me, it's more frustrating if you guys can't hear us than it is if the stream goes out. But let's see.
Oh, did we just go offline?
Yeah.
05. Okay.
Yeah, I have this stream open on my second screen, Jason.
Yeah, I've got it up on my phone. Persistent campaign.
I guess so because it is. Yeah, I set it to persistent campaign because it's like our 4th episode of this one. Yeah, I don't see us online either, even though OBS is telling me we are online. What do you think, guys? Should we ditch Twitch altogether and just record this for YouTube?
It happened again.
Maybe we should try turning it off and turning it back on again? If y'all want to answer that when you get back.
Yeah, because they can hear us. So
Yeah.
I think that means that their outbound is fucked up, but their inbound is fine. Their download is fine. Their upload isn't as bad.
Are we back for you guys?
You guys right?
Oh.
Yes. No,
Let's
we're
do
back.
to chat. All right.
Yeah.
How do we?
Can you guys hear
how
us
do we
now?
do to chat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the process of stopping the stream. I'm going to shut everything off, including Skype. I'm going to reboot my computer and our router and everything. I'm really pretty positive it's not our hardware because this only happens during streams, but we will see. All right. Hopefully everyone can see and hear us again. I'm sorry for our weird problems. Hopefully they stop long enough for us to play one damn game of Blades in the Dark. Okay, what were we talking about?
We're talking about our ace pilot.
Yes,
And about
Jeanette.
cool everything I do is
Oh,
how
that.
dashing and handsome. I was when I was carrying some thingamabob away from some guy that was really bad.
You
And I
pushed
threw
Jeanette.
someone under his feet, and then everything locked up.
Yes, you pushed the then unknown character Jeanette under his feet in order to aid your own escape. And then she became a ghost that haunted you. Also, during that same period of time, after Severin got away, the weird demon ghost robot leapt back to the boat where he encountered one Buck, a.k.a. John Doe, a.k.a. What Is That Guy, who drank some kind of, what was it, some kind of strength potion?
It's called a rage vial.
And didn't actually drink the rage vial, but shoved the thing wholesale into his mouth and chewed it up, glass and all, and then punched, with an assist from Braid as a distraction, punched this demon ghost robot in the face so hard that it broke his fake face off and cracked his containment, then picked him up and threw him over the side of the boat. This resulted... Yeah, you did this.
Damn, I'm hyper violent.
You killed it. You killed it that night. And by that, I mean you metaphorically did very well. Not that you actually killed anything, because this creature is an immortal demon filled with ghosts. So what actually happened is, with its containment cracked, it sank to the bottom of that canal.
Man, monsters that sink to the bottom of waterways, those never come back.
I don't know what.
Enough Friday the 13th to know that those never come back.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I want to point out that I did that without taking steroids. I gave him the steroids, then whooped his ass.
That is incorrect.
No, I did drink it? Is that what you said?
You didn't drink it. Well, you said you wanted to drink it, and then I, as the GM, decided to describe that instead you had shoved it into your mouth and chewed it up.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, so that happened. And that took place right around, like, this area. Actually, it's probably like around here is where you sank the demon robot full of ghosts, and then casually sailed on to your appointment, where you spent about a week at the Foundation, which is a location somewhere off the edge of the map over here, out in the Deathlands. where they were doing crazy science experiments, and then you carried something back, which seemed to be a more functional demon ghost robot that looked more realistic. It looked like a regular guy, and it behaved kind of normally, and it wasn't hostile to you. Braid did not look at this one using her spirit mask, because she was severely harmed the previous time she had done that. And then, you guys delivered it, and I'm actually spacing right now. Braid, the person you delivered this to was one of your contacts. It was a man with a single syllable name, I think.
Could it have been? Well, I was going to say, I believe that Flint, the spirit trafficker, was who I talked to at the party. Is
Yes.
that who it was?
That's him, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, so you delivered this guy to him, and after speaking with him, it seemed that the difference between the demon ghost monster that you sank in the canal and the one who was polite and went by the name Sparky was that one was an unwilling participant in this experiment and one was willing. So that was the last sort of bit of information that you guys as a crew got. And now...
that
What?
means the Demmer sisters lied to us. We asked them if it was a willing participant.
Well, sort of. They told you that the person that you were transporting did not object to being transported at all. They didn't say that he might not object to anything else. Also, considering that both of these creatures were a robot containing a demon and lots of ghosts, you're also not entirely sure which entity or entities was willing or unwilling in the first place. You don't know anything about this. You're not informed. However, you did gain +1 reputation with the Foundation. You lost. You're still at +1, I think, with the Dimmer sisters.
Yep.
I don't remember where you're at with the Foghounds, but you're at like
Foghound?
the Foghounds.
Those were the immigrant people.
I'm
We're
gonna
at -2 with Ulf Ironborn, -2 with the Bluecoats,
Yeah.
+1 with the Foundation, +1 with Dockers, and +2 with the Forgotten Gods.
Yes. So the Forgotten Gods for you are represented by the, what did I say they were called? The Silent Song.
Silent what?
Song.
The Silent Song.
Yeah.
That was our original contact.
Silent.
And didn't we lose reputation with the raids because we explicitly threw my problem at them?
No, because you didn't do that on purpose. And like they don't know that you did it at all is what it is. Yeah. Like this woman that is accusing them of your bullshit, like she doesn't even know who you were. And so they don't know who she's talking about.
Okay.
Yep. You guys fully got away with that one. So all of that happened a year ago. Now, with your -2, you have -2 with the Bluecoats, but you also had 1 level of heat.
Yep.
Or 1 wanted level, sorry, from
Yes.
From the Bluecoats. You are wanted criminals now. There is only one way in the book to reduce your wanted level, and that is to serve jail time. We are now a year later. Are you guys still wanted, or did one of you go to jail for a couple months?
Could we get the ghost to do it?
No.
No.
Yeah, no, I ain't going to jail.
Neither am I.
F. DePopo.
I really thought if anyone was going to do it, it might be Buck, because I feel like jail would just slide off his back. But if Buck says no, then
Yeah.
then
Well, also
no.
it's more interesting on the game session if we're running from the fuzz.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. Let me actually bring the map back up. So, because you guys have been wanted this whole time, you haven't had any more jobs at the scale of the ones you did last year. You have been making a living, but it's a little difficult to score big clients when you're actively wanted by the Bluecoats. Also, in the manner of, the criminal underworld, everybody knows what you did. They don't know the details, but they know that you did some sort of weird delivery, and it resulted in this section of the canal where Buck was seen in broad dusklight knocking a gigantic, clearly supernatural being into the water, is now untraversable.
And that's not even the part of the docks I literally blew up with an electroplasmic grenade.
Well,
No.
no, because that's literally not the docks at all.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, that was way up here.
That was the dock. I know, but
Yeah.
that's not even the part I blew up with railguns and grenades.
That's right. Braid, I believe, was working on that railgun, trying to get it working.
I was.
Yeah, you were trying to
Yes.
repair it. I'll go ahead and say you got that thing working in the intervening
in a
year,
year.
because obviously. So what happened is, in the weeks following this incident, this portion of the canal, which the creators of Blades in the Dark did not see fit to name, the Eastern Canal is what we were calling it. It
I
became.
can name it.
What are you going to name it?
Sorry, no. If you have a name, I have it.
I mean, we were just calling it the Eastern Canal. We didn't name it anything.
I was gonna call it La Manche, which is just the canal in French.
Oh. All right. Well, this section of La Manche is untraversable. People can sort of take the very edges of it, but you guys are kind of the only ones who know the reason specifically. But that thing that you threw down in the water was a fear demon. And it's full of ghosts, and its containment is cracked. People who go through this area get so terrified that they either turn back or go mad. And it's been this way for a full year since you threw the demon robot into the canal. La Manche.
Well, it's a good thing we know to completely avoid that little spot of water.
Yeah, it is not the full width of the canal, but it's wide enough that it slows down traffic a lot as everyone has to squeeze into tiny lanes and go around it. And a lot of people have just opted to take different routes. It's a bit of a problem in a canal city for one of the canals to be almost completely unusable.
What are those warden people called again?
The spirit
The
wardens.
spirit wardens.
They should get on that.
Well, funny you should mention that. The spirit wardens,
Are you talking about some clock where we're garnering attention from the spirit wardens?
Nope.
Oh.
The spirit wardens, whose membership is unknown, because they always wear masks. Although I did reveal to you after the game last time that they had been watching you during one of the jobs. But they were doing so out of uniform. So your characters do not know who was watching you. But these spirit wardens have been seen making several attempts to get down into the water and figure out what's going on there. The technology of Doskval is big, bulky brown diving suit type of situation, looking like a big daddy from
Yeah.
come
Bioshock.
on. Thank you, Bioshock. So they get down there. They've been seen trying to get down there, but they've made no progress. So before we've already talked about your crew upgrade. Before we get into the next sort of scene, does anyone want to do anything?
Nope.
Okay. Let me throw this out just for scene setting, which I maybe should have done before I said that. Where would you guys like to have your canal barge parked these days? Right now, or when we last left off, you had it in Night Market, but it is mobile, and it's mobile for a reason. Your old haunts were the docks.
Yeah.
Is Silk Shore pretty quiet?
Yeah, Silk Shore's pretty quiet.
It's close enough to the docks, far enough from all the disaster that follows us.
Mm-hmm.
Free from the consequence of our actions.
We should
Silk
go.
Shore sounds good to me.
We could also hide out in Six Towers.
Is that where the Demmer sisters are?
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Alright. Cool.
Silk Shore, blah, blah, blah.
Silk Shore is where you met the Foghounds originally and picked up the box that would later become the giant demon robot.
Yeah.
I can see frowning every time I say Foghounds. They only featured in the first episode. They were the crew that gave you the delivery, physically gave it to you, and briefly argued with you over the fact that some of them thought they should just deliver it themselves. They wanted that score.
Yeah.
And we set them straight. And based off of power scaling, I definitely can kick the shit out of Bear.
Absolutely. Yeah, you left the docks, I think, because of your tussle with Ulf Ironborn.
Yep.
All right, well...
If we go to Silk Shore is going to be more like a red light district. Like brothels, vice dens, that sort of shit.
Yeah, which is why you suggested it, right? Your character?
He's...
Severin?
Cody is suggesting that Severin would have suggested going there.
I mean, Severin would have honestly preferred to stay a little more in maybe Night Market, possibly Brightstone, someplace nice, someplace fab. I mean, Silk Shore it's fine. I don't see, Severin's indulgences tend to be more luxurious.
Yeah, Severin's the clothes horse.
Fucky or druggy. Braid, did you have a final suggestion of where you wanted to go?
The map back. Braid?
Yeah, sorry.
Where do you want the boat to be parked? Where do you want the layer to be?
I'm fine with Silk Shore. I thought we were...
No, there's
Okay, not
been...
enough.
Let's go for it.
All right, Silk Shore.
Let's go for Silk Shore.
2-1. All right, you guys have landed in Silk Shore. You've been there for, a few months at this point. Buck has somehow trained Jeanette's ghost to be useful on the jobs, even though she's, still trying to kill you every now and then. It's getting more and more half-hearted. She seems to, as a free-floating spirit, have just settled into her role as your ghost servant. And she pilots your boat around for you. She has also proven capable of taking other means of transport. You once saw her drive a carriage. She seems to have no trouble with all sorts of transports.
And does Jeanette possess people, or can she correlate enough to touch things?
She doesn't possess people. She can possess hollows.
Okay.
But those aren't super common. She can actually manifest enough to control the boat, but that's about it.
Got it.
And I can, as a whisper, I do have compel, where I can give her if she starts going after Severin, I can literally just go down, girl, and force her to stop. As well as having, fine lightning hooks and spirit bottles, or I can drag her off if things go bad.
Yeah, you guys are such good friends.
Well, I'm just I'm the stick and Buck is the carrot.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're just she doesn't have to hang out with us. I don't think we're, she wanted to haunt us. So this is her decision.
That makes some kind of sense, I suppose.
It's like Stockholm Syndrome. She Stockholm Syndromed herself because she chose to be here.
That's right.
All right. So you guys are hanging out in your... who do you think would be home in the middle of the day on the barge? You guys, I don't think you all live on the barge. I think Braid did, if I remember correctly.
I did. Yeah.
Braid did, but Buck and Severin did not live on the barge.
Buck definitely did. Yeah, we lived
Buck
there
did.
together.
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that part in the replay. What of Severin? I seem to recall you living somewhere else.
Yeah, I think I've got an apartment somewhere.
Okay.
And
that can...
probably in some attic in 6 towers.
I
think is just beautifully dilapidated.
I was going to say all of you can easily change that if in the intervening year, if you want to have moved onto or off of the barge. That's fine. But who do you think is on the barge in the middle of the day?
Both.
Definitely me.
Both.
Buck.
Yeah.
Severin, would you be there or would you be off somewhere else?
It's the middle of the day.
Well,
coming up business?
In between dawn and dusk, middle of the day, yeah.
I mean, if it's the middle of the day, I am probably just in bed, just crashed out.
All right. Excuse me. So Buck and Braid, what are you guys doing as we find you on your barge today?
I'm staring at a wall.
Contemplating why you are.
Yeah.
Well, I think I will start. I sadly have lost my notes on exactly what project. Since I finished Buck's Railgun, I think I'll start on a new project.
Okay.
So I am holed up in my room. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
You finished the boat motor for the John Martin dinghy or whatever?
Oh,
Did that get finished?
Yeah, the boat motor is finished. You guys used it in the third job. And and I've already given for free that Braid has since also repaired the railgun.
Okay. Then I think that was it then, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. What should I be tinkering? I think I'm looking for a new project instead of already in the middle of one. I've kind of finished. I finished the railgun. I've been holed up, hiding from the heat because I'm not going to jail. And I've just sort of hit that level of, what's the word I'm looking for? When you're stuck inside and...
Cabin fever.
Cabin fever. Yeah, I've hit that level of cabin fever where I'm just sort of I have a bunch of projects that I've started to draw up plans for, but I haven't settled on a single one yet. And I'm just sort of wasting time and being unproductive and frustrated.
All right. So in this situation where Braid is trying to find something to do and Buck is staring at a wall, you hear the sound of a voice coming from off the side of your barge where they're docked. A man yells, "Ahoy there! Is anyone there? I've come looking for the Tide Wraiths."
I come out with a cricket bat, and I ask for Braid to come out.
Yeah, I'll follow, absolutely. And I just kind of do like the look around the edge of the door thing.
You see a man, maybe early 30s, dressed in a long coat that is closed up, and you see nothing in particular about him that you recognize. But he says, "Are you with the Tide Wraiths?"
Who's asking?
Someone you might want to talk to.
Does it involve trafficking?
Like drugs?
People.
We don't do that.
It involves the traffic of people.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait until Severn gets here. I don't accept those jobs.
No, not like trafficking people, but people's traffic.
I don't know. I look at Braid like he just taught me a new word.
Look, pal, let's just cut to the chase. Are you looking to hire somebody to move? We have a boat and we move cargo. Is that what you're looking for?
No.
Oh.
I do come to you with the possibility of a job and payment of a sort, but it is not a transportation job.
What? We're smugglers. Go ask the Wraiths.
Well,
I hit you on the shoulder and like, shh, we need park money.
He smiles.
Listen, what?
He smiles when you just openly state that you're smugglers.
Look, we're interested in hearing more. What are you looking for? Do you want to talk to us about this now?
Am I under the impression here that neither of you can make decisions for the crew?
Look, I literally only have half a brain in my skull. So yeah, I cannot.
I have lots of brains, but we are. This is a participational democracy as a group. We're kind of like an informal, more like a sort of a collective kind of thing, where we just sort of the decision making has to happen in a group, and we're missing part of the group right now.
I have a feeling that he pulls out a little notebook. Hell will be joining us soon. So with that, we're going to cut over to Severin Hell's bedroom, where he is sleeping off a night of clothes-wearing debauchery. And
good clothes, good food.
Yeah.
Staying up really, really fucking late.
Yeah.
I like the idea that the debauchery involved putting on lots of clothes.
Yeah.
It does for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a loud knock on your door.
I roll over and pull my sheets over my head.
Severin Hell.
Oh, fuck. My eye, like, hearing my name, my eyes just shoot open, like, wide awake. Adrenaline's kicking in. but I'm going to try and quietly get out of bed.
You have prowl? You have points in prowl?
I do.
Please give me a prowl check. You have already stated that this place that you live in is dilapidated and you think that's cool. So I'm going to call this desperate standard.
Nice. All right. Oh, don't I get a thing if I do a thing? Okay. Desperate. And I'm not going to be able to get any teamwork here, right?
Nope, nobody's with you.
Jeanette is trying to kill you, but she's not with you.
She's not currently there.
No.
Hanging out with us on the barge.
She doesn't really come around, like, my place, per se. Pardon me. Wow.
What'd you get?
Wow. I mean, you'd think I could do worse at this.
Oh, we're about to get a dice cam.
No, I literally rolled 2 1s.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Oh.
He falls to the floor.
This guy. Yeah, give me some XP points.
All right, so
thinking some of that floor just made a lot of noise collapsing in under me.
absolutely it did. It creaked very loudly and broke. And also, your bed springs made noise when you stood up.
Oh yeah, I do have that kind of bed.
You hear at that point that I would have said that he just doesn't even realize you're trying to sneak away, but with with 2 1s, not only do you fail to sneak away, but he knows that you were trying to, and so your door is kicked in.
Well, I mean, in that case, I turn to them with a big smile on my face. Greetings, welcome to my home. How can I help you?
3 blue coats with drawn swords face you.
My hand slowly moved, like trying to stealthily move towards my rifle next to my bed. Gentlemen,
I'm assuming you're a...
what can I do for you at this horrible middle of the day? I assure you, I was hard at lounge when you knocked.
We can see that. We heard your very loud bed squeak when you stood up.
I know. I can tell. What can I do?
Keep your hand away from the rifle or you will lose the hand.
What are you here for? How can I help you, gentlemen?
The 3 of them sort of part a little bit to let a 4th man through who's not in uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps into your apartment and holds out to you a sheet of paper.
Not a box that's just suddenly, oh, nope, there it goes.
It's just a sheet of paper.
I take the sheet of paper and it is okay.
It is a warrant for the arrest of yourself and Braid and Buck and several other people you know but who aren't in the crew, and several people you don't know but who seem to have been lumped in with you for some damn reason.
Well, I assure you, some of the names on this list fully deserve this, but I guarantee you that, and I point to my name, Braid's name, Buck's name, and who else?
I mean, I just people you know. I didn't specify, but just like friends of yours are on here.
I point to our names,
Yeah.
and then any other name I recognize that's related to me.
Yeah.
And I assure you that these people have nothing to do with any of this.
So you, Severin Hell, you're looking at the warrant, and
I'm pointing at it, going, no, I shouldn't be on this.
But it's not.
Buck shouldn't be on this.
It's not just a list of names. It actually lists the crimes you're accused of. Smuggling is one of them, and another one is.
I mean, considering that my companions can't say 3 words without just blurting out that we're smugglers, I'd expect that.
Murdering Jeanette is another one, which you did in front of many witnesses.
Murder her. I just,
Manslaughter.
It's a terrible accident.
By a demon robot.
Murdering unknown large man by drowning is also on there.
That wasn't me.
Departing. You guys are like, it's like you're all a gang. Like you're just all being accused of it as a group. Departing the city of Duskfall without proper clearance is on there. Just like every random thing they could drum up. And the guy says, this piece of paper here is one of 2 copies of this warrant that exist. You may keep that one. I am here to talk to you about the possibility of having the other copy handed to you as well.
Shoving that into my vest so I can frame it later. Well, talk to me. How can we help the Bluecoats? How can I help the Bluecoats?
First things first, the Bluecoats are not here. And he turns and snaps his fingers, and the 3 guys in uniform leave. He says, I think that you and I should have a little chat with your friends present.
Yeah, we're all involved in this. We're all in this together. Can I get dressed?
You're already better dressed than he is.
Well, I probably am, but these are still technically like I'm imagining that I took my kilt off before I went to bed.
Yeah.
But I'm in like my vest is all like it looks like it's been fucking slept in.
Yeah, I think like your pajamas are nicer than his actual outfit.
I'm saying that I didn't sleep in pajamas last night.
Yeah, of course.
I had enough sense to get my kilt off and then just.
He will wait for you.
Thank you.
Note,
it is
I think
much obliged.
Sorry, I think parkouring in a kilt should be illegal for several reasons.
I agree.
I'm really good at it.
However,
unseemly.
A lot of things that are involved with parkour are in fact illegal, like climbing public buildings and jumping across things, no matter what you're wearing. So
good times.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, I get dressed. I put on some fresh clothes. Dab on some cologne.
Well,
not so much that people can smell me coming or smell that I've been there, but enough to try and cover the fact that I probably haven't washed for like a day and a half or 2 days.
Right. In the spirit of this game's cutting to the action, we're going to go ahead and say that you have reached the barge. Braid and Buck are there. The guy who came to your house and this other guy who looks a lot like him are now both on the barge with you guys.
Well, 2 things real quick. Do either of these guys resemble the guys we saw during our last job?
Yes.
Okay. And 2, can I come in as Braid is describing what sort of decision-making process our group indulges in.
Sure.
So I can kind of come up from behind like they didn't.
Yes.
They hadn't seen me yet. Drape my arms over their shoulders, and God, what the fuck was I gonna say? We're a co-op.
Yes.
Fascinating.
We're cooperative. I mean, obviously, we're a smuggling co-op. I'm assuming Buck is
I
already...
jab you in the ribs now. I'm like, we're not good. She says, ha! That's funny. So, yes, we were moving completely legitimate cargo. Is that what you are asking us to do here, sir?
We are aware that you were involved in an incident some months back. As I'm sure anyone in the possession of a boat is aware, La Manche has been blocked up ever since the time of that incident. We have made several attempts to clear the blockage, and we're unable to. It has been suggested that those who caused it may have the insight required to fix it. You see, the city of Duskwall is a well-oiled machine. Well, it's a machine. And if all of its parts aren't functioning properly, the machine will shut down and break. We must have La Manche free to transport goods and people.
I whispered to Bert, what the fuck is oil?
Like when fungus gets really, really old and kind of slippery. It's what it feels like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There are literally cans of oil sitting around.
Yeah, I know.
I couldn't remember if everything ran on electroplasm and oil, like crude oil, didn't exist, or if like whale oil is still a thing.
I think whale oil is still a thing, but it's called something else.
It's like Leviathan.
Yeah, electroplasm comes from leviathans, but like also oil. Like no matter what's powering a machine, it still needs lubrication. So like there would be oil. In fact, you guys were given an oil can the last time you transported one of those demon robots.
I don't know what we used that for.
Okay.
But...
Just in case he got tin-manned.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, just to move the action along, I assume Severin has whispered to us, Blue Coast, we're under arrest, warrant something. We're up to speed.
You're up to speed on it. At no point have you been under arrest, but there were blue coats there. There is an arrest warrant for you in existence. You are being offered this job, and your payment is that you will, your wanted level will be removed if you take it.
I look to the guys, I'm like, well, we're always happy to keep the very well-oiled machinery of the city running.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you had... It's a machine full of souls, and you don't want it to get cracked and full of water.
yeah, and let the fear demon out and scare everybody for a year.
That would be a terrible metaphor for a hypothetical situation.
Exactly.
You see these two guys that look almost exactly the same. They turn to look at each other and make eye contact. And then they look back at you. And the one that came to the barge first says, I am glad to hear that you will accept the job.
So what exactly do you, did you have something in mind for us, or are we just kind of like gray skying here in terms of finding a solution? You guys like that one?
Yeah, that's good. I like it, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so They have nothing to offer you, except for the use of 2 diving suits.
Ooh.
They don't have 3, or they're not giving you 3, one of the 2.
Well, we would never send all 3 of us down.
Well, they're giving you 2
Okay.
on loan. And yeah. They're just that, and the understanding that they recognize you guys know more about the situation than they do, and they have chosen, rather than capture you and torture you to find out what the fuck, to see if you guys are willing to just deal with it for them.
Seems in.
Yeah, no, I already have a plan forming for this.
Okay.
And I think you guys are gonna like it.
All right, so let's go ahead and skip to the planning stage then.
Yes.
So here's my just real top-down idea here. Is we use the barge. You guys take those diving suits. Just get some hooks into this fucker, and we will dredge him somewhere else and leave him there.
To
we could drop him in the. We could just dump him in the get him under Brightstone or something. Put him under White Crown, and just leave him there. Then it'll be their problem.
For
and,
clarification,
just out of circulation.
For clarification's sake, and maybe to remind you if you forgot, you guys have a smaller boat that you typically use for jobs that is separate from the barge.
Yeah, that's the Dandy Gent.
Yes, the Dandy Gent, which we just called the smaller boat the whole time. But so you just mentioned using the barge to drag the guy, so I wanted to clarify that you knew what you were talking about.
Use something that will move him because. Oh, but we've got an engine on the Dandy Gent now.
Exactly.
Is it going to be strong enough to pull
this is a great plan, guys. We will move him somewhere else. I'm not sure how seaworthy the Dandy Gent is.
I was going to say this is an occult job. But the description that you have given of the plan makes me think it's a transport job. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we're brainstorming here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that. I think the basic idea is good. I wonder though if any of our contacts are open to giving us an assist. I wonder if the Dimmer sisters or the Foghounds who sent this item back and forth, if they'd be willing, if they're interested in having it back in their possession and might be willing to assist us in exchange for giving it back to them.
The Dimmer sisters, for sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the Dimmer sisters would be closer.
That's true. The Dimmer sisters are in 6 Towers, which is right there. Basically, you just take the thing through this little canal, and then you're basically at their place.
Because they might be able to back us up with some occult power that might help us. They might be willing to help us control the effects. We know the containment unit is cracked. They might have ways of shielding from the effects long enough to get this thing back into their possession.
That seems like a really good plan for also not having this bite us back in the ass again.
Yes.
So, question, because of our previous experience with this demon, and I'm actually asking Braid this question technically. Would a demon bane charm, is that a protection thing or a thing that they're scared of? Does it protect us or make them scared?
Oh gosh, let me take a look at this. Demon Bane Charm. 7. It is a... I do have one of these, I believe. Do you have one of these as well? Yeah,
I have a
it's
Spirit Bane
Arcane
charm.
trinket that demons prefer to avoid.
Yeah, I think it doesn't say in my book exactly what it does. I don't know that it's going to... It seems like it's...
literally what it does.
Yeah, it's... I don't know how much power it has, and if a demon really wants to get you, and if it's very powerful, if it's just going to blow right through it, if it's more of a... if it'll keep a demon from noticing you in the first place, or keep it, if you don't pick a fight, it won't pick a fight with you, but if you do pick a fight, it's not going to stop the demon.
Okay.
I'm not sure which one it is.
I foresee 2 major hurdles that we need to address.
Mm-hmm.
First hurdle, the madness that surrounds it, so we'll need some type of protection from that. Presumably we can procure that from the Demmer Sisters.
Yeah.
Secondly, in the case that Demon Man can walk and is choosing to not move, if he will resist being tugged, and if he will resist, I imagine we could also get the Demmer Sisters to make us a Spirit Bane like net to kind of usher him along, like push him like a hot poker in the back. Yeah, so have a solution for the second thing, not really for the first thing.
I mean, we've been around this asshole before.
Yeah.
I mean, all these are fucking plebs. Of course they're gonna freak out over this.
Severin.
They're not us.
Severin, look at me. You just told Braid and I to get in the water with this thing.
Yeah.
I'm about to put you in one of the suits and make you do it now.
I'd object, but it's pretty obvious I'm going down there.
I'm the only one strong enough to tug both of you out of the water in case something goes wrong.
I like this side of Buck who just decides.
What was that, Steve?
I said I like this side of Buck who just decides he's not going to take orders for now.
I like to think it was my speech about how we're a collective that makes decisions together that inspired Buck to realize that he has the power to say no and to set his own boundaries.
It's been a long year of character development for Buck.
Yeah. I also like to think Jeanette has been telling him over and over, he doesn't care about you.
Yeah, listen to Braid. Kill Severin.
I have not heard any mention of your cohort in this plan.
Well,
So we're saving her for flashbacks.
Okay, just to throw out there that you're dealing with some weird stuff and you do have a ghost on your team.
Sorry.
No problem.
I mean, ostensibly, she could go down there and help you guys out.
Oh, I think we can we use a coin to procure some type of protection to kind of circumnavigate having to come up with one? Can we just buy one?
Circumnavigate what?
Like, instead of having to come up with the idea of how to get one, can we just buy protection?
Protection from...
The fear.
From a demon? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the bigger issue, is people go insane.
Yeah, I would say this. It is possible that you could buy protection, some sort of protective item from the Dimmer Sisters, because they know what this thing is and how it works. They built it.
Okay.
And they might want it back, like you said. How successful you are at dealing with them is going to be up to the engagement roll.
Right.
So what I'd like to do now, if that's basically the plan, go to the Dimmer Sisters for help, and then put on the diving suits and go, and then try to get the thing to them. Then I'm going to say that's the plan, detail filled in. Let's take our 10-minute break, and we'll come back and do the engagement roll.
I'd like to do one other thing, which is as part of our plan, and I'd like to go to my mentor, Skurlock the Vampire, and just ask him for his advice in dealing with this as well. So I'll just throw that out there. But that was the last element of the plan.
Okay, he advises you to move out of town.
There is no out of town.
Yeah, there's other countries.
Yeah.
What? I thought everything was just beyond the wastes. Like,
I mean, it's not super safe.
There's multiple islands.
Yeah, there's a world map.
Rail system.
yeah, okay.
Hold on, let me find...
I have half a brain, and Braid would never abandon me.
That's right. Here's the world. Duskfall is just here. That's Duskwall.
Yeah.
There's four continents.
And then
Yeah. Okay, so sounds good. Let's do that. 10-minute break. Oh, loadouts. Think about your loadouts. We can do the loadout when we come back too.
cool.
Okay.
All right. See you guys in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Popsicle Central.
Yep.
Now with 200% more cat.
Did you bring enough popsicles for everybody?
I mean, sure. If you want to go get them out of my freezer.
Yes.
I got another raspberry, an orange cream, and a lemon.
I'm gonna pass. You don't have any good flavors.
All right.
The lemon sounds pretty good.
So
Yeah,
you guys,
it's actually really tasty.
you guys have been tasked with clearing up whatever the hell is slowing down traffic in La Manche. And now It is time for your loadouts. I believe Buck already stated he wants to go heavy.
Yeah, Severin's going heavy for this one.
Okay. And Braid?
Mm-hmm.
Your loadout?
You know, since we are not going subtle on this one, I will go with 6 heavy.
All right.
We're not trying to be subtle. We're operating under the... I mean, we're not being subtle here.
Yeah, in case this wasn't clear, you guys are not at all operating in any official capacity.
Oh, yeah.
You have been approached in secret by individuals who did not give their names or their affiliations, and they have simply promised to help you out with a problem if you help out the city.
I feel like they pretty clearly announced they were affiliated with the Bluecoats when they were a bunch of Bluecoats. They were.
He very no.
I mean,
the man who spoke to Severin.
My guy explicitly said the Bluecoats were not involved and shushed the Bluecoats out of the room.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay.
I expect at any given instance, Severin will explain that we are definitely operating under Bluecoat jurisdiction and orders.
Yes.
We are a specialist crew brought in to deal with whatever is going on in the canal.
All right.
Under Bluecoat authority.
So Buck doesn't know any of this, but Cody is very certain that is just spirit wardens, like sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
And only the spirit wardens are going to know who or what we are doing.
It is likely that even Buck would suspect the same thing, because spirit wardens are a known faction in the city, and they have been seen dinking around there. So even though they didn't identify themselves, it's a good bet that's who you were talking to. The spirit wardens never identify themselves. If you know you're dealing with spirit wardens, then it's because they're wearing their masks. But, you know, this time they wanted to be more discreet and came out of uniform. Mm-hmm. So, who would like to do the engagement roll? I believe that I am supposed to do it for you, but we weren't clear on that last time, and I had you guys do it, and I like that better.
Severin, it's your plan.
Yeah.
Cool. It's my plan, and I have been rolling hot as shit tonight.
All right. I'm going to give you a +1 because...
That gives me an extra die, right?
That's correct. Because of your plan's detail being very... Well, don't roll yet. Not done. Not done buffing you. I'm giving you a +1 because of the detail of your plan being particularly helpful. And I'm giving you another +1 because you have friends or contacts that you're going to for aid with this one. So you should be rolling 3.
All right.
Did anybody else just freeze? My whole computer froze for a second there.
I did
not that I know of.
No, just me.
I
right.
was playing with this candle, I'm being honest.
Okay, help us out, sweetie. We got a 3, a 4, and a 5.
Okay, that makes it a 5.
Right.
So it goes pretty well. The Dimmer Sisters give you guys a charm in the form of a headband that you can wear tied around your forehead that will protect you from the effects of any demons in the vicinity. So whichever one of you is going to be wearing this headband will be immune to the demon's fear effect.
Are ghosts inherently immune to demon's fear effect?
You don't know that information.
Okay, I will be sure to ask Jeanette when we get there.
Okay. If they're not, then all those hundreds of ghosts that are trapped in the suit with the demon must be very scared. Yeah, so you have this headband. It did cost you a coin. and there's only one of them. But it puts you in a better position for this job. So you are now out there. Did you decide to take the Dandy Gent or the barge?
Well, since the Dandy Gent has the engine on it, I think we should take the Dandy Gent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
There you are on the Dandy Gent. You are at...
Also, whose coin?
Stat game coin, like our crew coin.
Okay.
That's what it's for. It's crew coin.
Okay.
I'm not in the crew, but I would say that's exactly what crew coin is for.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so yeah, there you guys are at the edge. You've got your 2 diving suits. You've got your demon fear protection headband and whatever you've got in your loadouts.
So I wasn't sure if you were joking or not. We kind of cut off early. But when I go to Skurlock, my mentor, he literally just tells me to go to another country.
Yeah, your choices as he sees it are stay here and be arrested, or go in the water and fuck around with a fear demon, or leave.
Mm.
His advice is leave.
Is there anything I can do? Because I do have a 2 in study. Can I convince him to help me use my study roll to see if there's any additional information I can gather about the situation that could assist us in dealing with this, in dealing with the fear demon?
You're trying to get Skurlock to help you. I'm not clear on what you're trying to get from Skurlock.
I am trying to convince him that, look, I'm going to do this. You might as well, give me a hint what direction I should be focusing my studies in, or any vulnerability the fear demon has, anything I have that could possibly assist me in dealing with it.
There's nothing that he can tell you. He doesn't know this information.
All right. Okay. All right.
I am trying to find the definition of a psi-sicker.
How do you spell that?
SPK or psi and then sicker. It's kind of implied he fucked up a surgery of mine. I just want to make sure.
Oh, physicker.
Yeah.
Physicker. That just means doctor.
It's not spelled like I would assume like a physician is spelled, so I thought it was a different word. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's just an old-timey word.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. Psi-sicker.
That sounds much more interesting than physicker. Yeah, it's on
70, actually. I happened to flip right to it after you told me how to pronounce it.
Oh,
it's crazy
okay.
how that works.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so you guys are at the site. Who's going down?
Sorry, one other question before we start that I realized we didn't cover. We went to the Dimmer sisters and we asked them for their help. I know you said they asked us for a coin, but we were offering them the chance to get this thing back. Did they take us up on that offer? Do they want us to deliver this thing somewhere, or did they say, no, but you can pay us for help instead?
No, they want you to have it back, but they didn't give you the headband or they want you to bring it back to them, but they did not give you the headband for free.
Gotcha. So we need to get it across. Oh, sorry.
Their point of view is that they're helping you by taking this thing off your hands and making it so that you don't have to drag it all the way out of town. Again, the Dimmer sisters' place is right by where it is. This is where the thing is over here, and their place is just back in these houses. And the secret sort of subterranean boat route that you took before when you picked this guy up from them. So you know how to get to basically their underground back door. And it's really close. So from their point of view and from yours, the best possible thing you guys could do to be done with this is take it to them and leave.
Yes.
So for that reason, they're not looking at it as you doing them a favor. They're looking at it as them doing you a favor.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. If requested, Buck will probably put the suit on, despite previous comments.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, Buck. I know I'm kind of short and perfunctory, and I step in and I say a lot of shit, but I genuinely think you are one of the best people to have down there. You've already out-wrestled this thing a couple times. I'm not going to be doing that. Like, I'm a decent shot, but I'm not a wrestle man. You know,
Yeah.
You've got the raw physical ability to get this guy under control. And that's why I want you down there.
I pick
Just
up
like I
the...
want Braid down there because she has the knowledge and the ability to apply that knowledge to help deal with this guy.
Cody?
Anything?
Oh, Cody froze.
I'm back.
Oh,
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I was gonna be funny, but you know the internet told me I'm not allowed to be funny, so I'm gonna retell the joke, knowing that it's not funny. I pick up the smaller diving suit, and I say, I don't think this is going to fit me. Are you sure you want to send me without protection?
yeah, you should
I
use
will
the bigger
take
suit.
the smaller diving suit off your hands and say, Buck, I think you should wear the headband. I think if one of us has to bail out early, it's better that it be me. I'll support for as long as I can. But I think at the end of the day, this is going to be, I think at the end of the day, we're going to need strength, physical strength.
Okay. All right. Is the water inherently toxic if like my suit gets cracked?
Oh, yeah.
No.
So
No,
it's just regular water.
It's water. It's dirty water. It's probably pretty salty since you guys are right on the ocean like that. But yeah, it's city canal water, but it's not
So don't drink it, but as
Yeah.
long as I get rinsed off, I should be fine.
exactly. Yeah.
All right. All right, cool. I suit up.
Here's a question that we would probably know the answer to, just from living in the city and having a barge. How deep is the canal?
Oh well, this being the main canal, it's very deep.
Yes.
They get big ships through here. I would say, and this was my Achilles heel in the last game as well, I don't know shit about boats. But I would say it's probably 100 feet deep.
These are very small boats then.
Okay. It's probably 300 feet deep.
Okay.
I think
That's
at that point, you're...
Second thing.
Help us, Google. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, second thing, because I feel like this is one of those things that where I can't fix in a flashback if it goes wrong. But I really want to have the barge nearby. And the Dandy Gent is for pulling, the barge is for anchoring. Me too. I
Okay.
don't know. Because if something goes wrong, like... Because if I'm thinking of like a pretty like old school dive suit, there's something physically connected to the boat that helps get them out of the water.
Yeah, that thing is your air hose.
Yeah, but they won't be able to pull me. Like, there's like a mechanism. Do we have that mechanism on the Dandy Jet? If we can have it, then I'll just like try. I don't know, it's freaking me out.
Yeah, I'll say that because of you can use that as like one of your loadout items if you want.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll flashback and hover.
It's just a winch.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Do we want to just drop me in on the epicenter of where I knew I yeeted him into the water?
Yes, and it's not hard to find that epicenter because of all the little boats in the canal that are staying clear of it. It's like there doesn't need to be a real physical marker because people are just instinctively going around the scary spot. Yeah. So, is it just Buck who is going in?
No, I'm
with
going
Buck?
down too.
Okay.
Well, are we taking the dandy gent out there and then dropping you in?
I'd say let's have that be the plan, where we take the dandy gent as far into the fear as we can, and do a stop there to make sure that Severin and Braid aren't going to literally go insane if we stop, assuming that Buck is now immune with the headband. Get as close as we can and see what happens.
Okay. Yeah, so Buck's wearing the headband then.
Yes, definitely.
All right. I'm going to have you guys, as you pilot your way into this little area, you're all going to have to give me some kind of roll. What you want to roll is up to you, as usual in this game. You're going to have to give me some kind of roll to resist the fear effect and not panic and turn the boat around.
So like a resolve check?
That would be great. I'm not supposed to call for specific checks in this one. That's why
What's my bonus for having the headband? Steve, is it just +1?
If you have it on already, you're completely immune.
Okay. And we'll make no such check.
All right.
Pass with great authority.
Well, so resolve is a resistance.
Okay.
Or consequences from mental strain or willpower.
Works for me.
Which one is mental strain or willpower? I'm sorry. I think
resolve.
It's so.
Resolve.
What
Okay.
I'm looking at is, so you see how your abilities are grouped into 3 different categories? I'm looking at the bottom one, resolve, which is going to be, your rank in that is going to be equal to how many abilities you have in it.
All right.
Yeah, so
So are we making a roll? I'm sorry, I missed.
Yes, you're rolling to resist the fear effect and see if you panic and leave this. Also, Buck, since you're immune to this, if you want to help either of them, you can give them +1 by offering them your moral support.
I will help Severin to help stem where he might have not used. He's not an occult person, so I know he probably needs help.
Yeah,
Okay.
I rolled a 2, a 5, and a 6, so I'm fine.
You are okay. You are scared shitless, but you are not panicking. You are able to. You were able to choose to overcome your fear. What did you roll, Severin?
I haven't yet.
Don't you roll your lowest one? That's what I remember. Because like someone was like, you roll your lowest insight skill. I was like, I don't got any insight.
No, it's so your insight. How many abilities do you have under insight?
Okay, so I'm just asking you because I don't need to make a roll. Like,
No,
like,
I know what dice I'm rolling. I'm just trying to I'm trying to decide if I want to call a flashback on it.
Ah.
Okay. I'm giving you an extra dice.
Yeah, Buck has given you an assist, so you have an extra one.
Okay, so yeah, I do want to call a flashback.
Okay.
So basically, I'm flashing back to just my time as a mercenary. I mean, just in the middle of the shit. Like, trench warfare bullshit, like no man's land, trying to take other trenches. And this is just, it's a reminder of Severin looking nothing like he does now. Just, I mean, the drab uniform, but doing this shit and getting it done. And I want to use that as a flashback to steel myself to help with this role.
Okay.
What is my stress cost?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. You know what? That's going to be 2 stress because I feel like that I'm looking at the literal rules for that in the flashback section, and I feel like what you just described is a special opportunity or contingency, something that applies specifically to your experience. So yeah, that's a 2 stress flashback.
Okay.
Can you guys hear my fan on Discord? It just picked up for some reason.
I can't.
I can hear a slight background noise when you talk, but otherwise no.
I can't hear anything.
Okay, so what... Is this just giving me another die?
Yes, it's giving you another die.
Okay. Okay, cool.
And Buck is as well.
Yep. Let's see if I can manage this. 4 1s, here I come. Close. I got a 1, 2 5s, and a 6.
Hey.
All right. So you also are able to resist the effects here. You guys are, sweating.
Steve?
Yeah?
What kind of, what was the 2 vectors of rolling stuff on that?
Oh, my bad. I am
Effect,
supposed to.
risky save.
I am supposed to say that in advance. Risky standard on that one.
Okay.
It start simple. So you guys are able, even though you are sweating bullets, to get out into the middle of this circle of fear. And it's been a year since you guys were here. In addition to everyone being afraid to come by here, you guys in particular made an effort to, avoid the scene of the crime, as it were. So it's hard for you to say the exact spot where you threw a demon robot into the water, but this is roughly it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cannonball.
You're just going in there, huh?
There's no point in doing... What else am I going to do?
All right, Braid, are you going in with him or are you going in after him? What's that about?
I turn around just in time to... I see this... I hear the splash and I turn around like, okay. And I will more cautiously climb down over the side of the boat and kind of do an awkward, backwards into the water.
Okay.
Professional diver.
Yeah. And just go ahead and
all right.
drop in after him.
So on the way down, it's dark in Duskwall. It's always dark. But there are sources of light. There's gas lamps along the street. There's lamps from windows. There's the glow of the lightning barrier around the city. As you sink into the water, all of those sort of sources of ambient glow begin to fade out. Severin, you're on the boat and you're able to let the winch out or stop it. At this time, you're just seeing it.
Yeah.
You're just seeing it for both of them feed out consistently. The water, I believe we settled on 300 feet deep.
Give me a quick sec on that.
Yeah, can we do 100? If you go past 100 feet, it's got serious
Yeah.
Then you're doing deep diving. You're dealing with
Yeah,
decompression.
300 feet is going to be 30 atmospheres of pressure.
I said 100, and I got shit for that right away, so that's why I tripled it.
Because it was too deep.
No, Cody said the boats were too small if it was 100 feet. Look, I don't know which one of you guys actually knows what you're talking about, but let's just say it's
reading it off Wikipedia.
Let's just say it's vaguely deep water. How about that? I don't want to get hung up on the numbers.
That works for me.
Okay.
It's deep enough to where we can't see, is what I'm gathering.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would like to carry an item now.
Well, I wasn't done. I was literally interrupted 3 times in one sentence.
Okay.
So you guys are going down. It gets darker and darker. All of the light fades from your view, and then you begin to see light again from below. Now I'm done.
Okay. Interesting. I'm still going to produce the item that I would like to have using my load.
Yeah.
I met this very cool leech that created these very peculiar little rods filled with electroplasm that when you snap them and shake them up really quick, they start to glow this orange or neon green color. They come in 4 different colors: yellow, orange, green, and I don't know, red.
I don't know, whatever. Yeah, okay, you can have glow sticks.
Okay. What is producing the light down there?
The light actually becomes harder to see if you're going to activate a glow stick on your person.
Have them.
You have them. Have you activated them or not?
No.
Okay. So the light from below is pretty ambient at this point, but as you drop closer to the ground, you're seeing something that looks like a small whirlwind, or I guess whirlpool at the bottom of the canal, made of swirling electroplasmic energy.
I mean, this thing has got to weigh 200 pounds. There's no way I can stop my descent.
If you want to establish, a zero stress flashback to establish that you had some sort of signal with Severin to stop the winch.
Yeah, we should do that.
Nah, just send it. I jumped.
Okay.
No, I think that Severin would have established that going in before you jumped.
Alright.
Yeah, so it's like a 2 tugs or whatever signal. You have the ability to... What's that?
How far is Braid from me?
I understood that she jumped in more or less with you.
Okay.
I'm probably about 10, 15 feet above. So I am holding on to my own rope, and if I'm going too fast, I kind of pull myself back up so it's looping below me.
I'm gonna get your attention to slow down and point at it and say point at you, which means your job, figure out what to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. Ectoplasm. What do I know about ectoplasm?
Electroplasm. What you know about electroplasm is that it's harvested from leviathans out on the open ocean, and it is the fuel source for all of the technology in the city. It is associated with the supernatural, like ghosts and spirits and demons. And, yeah.
Now, I would like to do an insight check.
Okay.
And this I think is going to be a study. My character's backstory is that my mother actually was a Leviathan hunter, so she was somebody who went out and harvested electroplasm for a living.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if I know how to, if there's any way, like if, the electroplasm, if the Leviathan was hurt in the water, if there's any way to grab electroplasm, is going to be hard to say that, out of mid-water, or a way of dispersing it. Just what an experienced Leviathan hunter would do to deal with electroplasm in the water.
A Leviathan hunter would have all sorts of complex and specialized tools specifically for that, because that's what they're out there for, is to get electroplasm. The closest thing you might have access to on a much smaller scale than what they would have would be a spirit jar.
I definitely have my 2 spirit jars on me. Absolutely.
Okay, so you would know easily from looking at the amount of electroplasm that you are looking at that there's more like 100 spirit jars worth of electroplasm at play here.
Okay.
What was that?
I said, all right.
Yeah.
Trying to think how I should phrase this to take action on how to deal with dispersing this. There has to be something I know about how to disperse it, because it's not just collecting it, it's moving it away. Can I do a flashback for any an actual flashback roll?
For what? I mean, you can call a flashback at any time, but what do you want to do?
I want to call a flashback where we know we're going down to deal with a leaking machine like this, and I have gone to my my old friends, the Leviathan hunters, and I have gotten some sort of equipment specifically to deal with large amounts of electroplasm that I have brought with me.
Okay, but how would you have known to do that?
Because I know that I'm going into water and dealing with, we know we've breached the containment on this demon robot. We know that it is
full of ghosts.
It is so it's a reasonable assumption that there is going to be some sort of electroplasmic damage or something that we are dealing with in addition to the demon itself.
I'm going to say, go ahead and give me, is there some sort of like, I'm going to recommend consort, but to take place within your flashback. Again, you're the final arbiters on what you roll for, so if you have something better than that.
No, I agree consort is the best one.
All right. Okay. This will be... I'm going to say this is going to be risky, but it's going to have great effect if you succeed.
All right. I've only got 1 dice, so, and I'm not going to push myself just yet.
Okay.
All right. 6.
Hell yeah.
Okay. All right, that's good.
Well, the time's pull out the clutch. Okay. If I can make a suggestion for what I have, I'm picturing some sort of lightning rod, like not literally a lightning rod, but some sort of picture like a giant Q-tip, if you will, or one of those things they used to hit each other with in the joust on American Gladiator, and the end of it is a sort of a lightning in a bottle effect of electroplasm, and when you stick it into electroplasm in the water, it kind of has like a reverse magnetic effect where it will kind of disperse.
All right.
Within, say, just wide enough for a single person to keep it away from them.
Okay.
Or two people if they're really, really close.
Okay. Yeah, what you are able to get from them is a device that temporarily disperses it just away from you in like a 5-foot radius. So you have that with you. You have to have it like coiled around your body, so you have it sort of around the suit. Yeah. And then it runs on wires down along your arms. So I've just put a 6 clock up on the screen for reaching the robot. Okay. I am now going to fill in a couple wedges here if I can get this thing to work.
How many stress was that? I apologize for the flashback if you said that. I didn't get that down.
I think I didn't say it, actually. It's a 1 stress.
Copy. Thank you.
I'm having some trouble with something else. Anyway, yeah, my Photoshop's being weird, but yeah, I'm going to say you guys have 2 ticks of this 6 clock filled in, because the first tick is just getting to the water, and then or getting into the water, and then you, Braid, are now able to disperse the electroplasmic energy a little bit and get closer to this thing. However, the fear here is much stronger than it was on the surface.
Okay.
I would like to have a Spirit Bane charm on my person.
Okay.
Because I know it's filled with ghosts, but also, like, I think that will inherently swayed spirits to stay away from me. If the electroplasm is inherently spiritual in nature.
Yes. Well, the Demon Bane charm, you had a Spirit Bane? You said...
So, I don't actually have access to the Spirit Bane charm. If you, the GM, would like to allow me to have access to that item, because I knew what I was getting into, I can switch it.
It says it's a standard item. For Whispers.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I think it's no big deal for you to have it.
Okay, yeah, I'll just mark it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured, like, I mean, we have 4 run-ins with this fucker now, so I should probably know what I'm getting into.
Yeah, so with your headband and Spirit Bane charm and Braid's electroplasmic sort of dispersal unit, that's going to give you guys another tick on the clock. You are now within about 50 yards of this thing. You've reached the bottom of the canal and they are able to stand on the bottom. And you're able to see now that you're closer that this electroplasmic energy is in fact in the form of spirits, ghosts that are in some sort of hectic vortex around a central point, which you can only assume must be where the is.
Is the robot autonomous moving?
You can't quite see it because there's too much stuff. Sorry, go
Just for the record, I am assuming that we both are carrying some sort of like anchoring type hook to hook into this thing, as that is the plan we discussed, was to go down and literally put hooks into it.
Yes,
Just
that was my
record.
assumption.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
down there with
All
ropes and hooks.
Copy. Okay, thank you. Okay. Interesting. I will remind... Well, I guess we can't really talk. I can attune... my special ability is to compel a single ghost to follow a command of mine. Though I'm not sure what... So I'm looking at this, and as Braid, I'm thinking, interesting. I wonder if I can do that, or what I could do that is useful.
Boy, somebody's got a loud cricket.
It's Sarah.
Yeah, I think it is me, actually. I don't know where it is in this room, but...
Huh. Okay, so what are you going to command?
No.
I assume you're going to target one of the ghosts in the vortex, and what are you going to command it to do?
So I can actually... Let's see. Ghost wants to satisfy need for life essence and exact vengeance. I am going to just give a ghost a very basic command. I'll pick the biggest looking one and reach out to it and order it to protect me and Buck.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming, can I interrogate a ghost? I think I can, but that's not really...
That's not the ability
practically.
that you have, yeah.
Okay. You know what I'm going to... Maybe... Do you think I should ask it to hide us? Like to shield us underneath itself as we make our way across the floor?
I love that idea. I really love that idea because I don't want this thing grabbing me when I inevitably touch it.
You know that... so you want a ghost to cover you up?
To shield us. I'm thinking something like as we're approaching, just the ghost kind of acts as a camo shield in front of us. So the other... I mean, they are in a swirling vortex, so it's not like we're only approaching from one side. We're going to be cutting across. Trying to think what a single ghost could possibly do in this situation.
Well, why don't you think about it for a while I jump up to the boat? Because we have Severin Hell in the boat manning the winch, along with your pilot, Jeanette, the ghost, who hates you for getting her killed.
Hey, that's, sure.
You keep saying that, Steve.
Yeah. So so Severin, you are looking down off the side of the boat, watching for tugs on the lines, when completely silently, you haven't heard a thing, you didn't feel a boat rock or anything, just all of a sudden Jeanette is standing next to you. And she says, "So you have brought me here to witness the retrieval of my murder weapon."
I mean, technically, yeah. You don't have to watch, though. As long as you're keeping the boat as long as you're keeping the barge going the right way, we're good. Yeah?
Have I ever told you that it is physically painful to me to operate the electroplasmic engine of this boat?
I mean, once, twice, like every time, yeah?
Where we're standing right now feels like that.
Yeah, it does. Don't feel good, do it.
So she looks at you, and you see her thinking for a few minutes, and then she says something that she said to you probably 500 times. Why did you kill me?
Twice a day.
I mean, girl, do you want a real answer to that?
Yes.
Because I expect I've told you this countless times. I mean, it was nothing personal. You were just there.
That is why he killed me. Because
Well, I mean,
you see,
it's why I pulled you out of a crowd and threw you under his feet.
but you see, for him, it was not personal because he is not a person.
It wasn't personal here either.
Am I a person?
Shit just happened. I mean, do you consider yourself a person?
I did.
Do you now?
Maybe. Do you consider yourself a person?
On occasion.
Sounds like there were two persons involved.
But that doesn't mean it's personal.
You and I have different definitions of personal.
Obviously.
When I kill you, it will be personal.
Okay, well, I mean, she says that, and at this point, I'm going to reveal 2 of my fucking load. I'm just going to, I am still packing. I may not have my good gun, but I've got a nice pistol. I just pull it out and just lazily point it in her direction. And I'm assuming she can obviously tell that it is loaded with electroplasmic ammunition. And that's fine. But that's some other time, and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But right now, we've got a job to do.
She points at your electroplasmic gun, says, "Do you think that thing would kill me?"
Honestly, I mean, you're already dead.
Do you think it would harm me?
I think it would.
I am feeling an intense pull down into the water. I suspect that Braid and Buck could really use a weapon like that one.
They honestly, they really could. Unfortunately, this isn't going to fire underwater.
What if you fired it from above the water?
Well, the shell would go wide, and at best, like imagine dropping a rock into the water, and that rock sinks, or however far down it's going to sink. It's going to have no momentum. It's going to do basically fucking all by the time it gets down to them.
I see.
But up here, just between us, it's still got some potency.
All right. So she's going to float back to the engine and just hang out by it. Braid and Buck, we're going to cut back to you guys now. So we have 3 wedges of this 6 clock filled in to reach the robot. What further actions are you guys going to take? Braid, you were talking about trying to use your command a spirit action to help. Have you figured out how you want to do that?
I would like to know if as we approach, I assume that my ectoplasmic dispersal is not working on the ghosts because it's specifically for the ectoplasm.
No, you misunderstood. The ghosts are made of electroplasm.
Okay.
They are what you'd be dispersing.
Got it. Okay. Then if this is a vortex circling, I would like to, then I am going to command a single ghost, the biggest one I can find, to get between me and Buck and the vortex, because they're coming at us from a primary direction. So okay. I'm going to order this ghost to basically add to our shield, because I have the electroplasmic disperser. We both have our charms, our Bane charms, and I'm going to add. I'm actually going to do 2 things, because I also have my fine wire. My fine lightning hook. So I'm going to attempt to lasso a ghost, and I'm going to try to compel a different ghost. So I'm going to have the one I'm dragging along and the other one standing next to it that's a commanded one.
Okay, why are you going to drag a ghost along?
Again, just to get, to add a barrier between us and all the other ghosts. I'll command one first and see if that offers us any kind of protection.
It does. I'm going to give you another wedge on the clock here.
Thank you.
Buck, do you have anything to add?
And to reiterate, this clock is to reach the robot, and that includes throwing, it being in throwing grappling hook range or whatever, right?
Yes. However, that's basically getting right up to it, because of the swirling electroplasm is also affecting the current of the water, and you don't really think you could throw a hook through this current.
Okay. Yeah. So one person in our team is very very smart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very reckless, and I'm very much the brute force. And my goal is to just weather and just be the spearhead penetrating the maelstrom.
Yeah.
Okay. That's going to require a roll.
Don't think I can. Well, I mean, I could be kung fu fighting these ghosts, but I don't know.
If I can make a suggestion, I think what's happening right now is that we are doing this kind of BioShock style where you're the
Big Daddy.
You're the big daddy. I'm a little sister here, where you're powering through and I'm just holding on to you and warding off ghosts like this. So you're towing both of us forward through this and keeping your feet on the ground and pushing through the vortex. So you're handling the physical and I'm handling the electroplasmic.
See, okay, this is where the issue is. I only have prowl and wreck, or skirmish and wreck. I don't really have finesse, but I'm also not really finessing.
No, I would say skirmish or wreck are both totally appropriate for this.
Okay. Well,
because you're skirmishing with the ghosts, but you're also just barreling through them. So either of those things kind of applies.
I want to think of something in a demolition tools that would help, but can't think of anything. So I'm just gonna push myself.
Okay.
Yeah, hold on to those demolition tools for when we reach the robot. I feel like that might be.
Oh, I got a 6, so we're good.
All right.
6, 5, 4.
Okay.
I'm taking 2 shrooms, by the way.
I'm going to say, you guys have brought a wide array of things that are helping you get through these ghosts. You both have Spirit Bane charms. Braid has the electroplasmic dispersal. You have enlisted other ghosts into assisting you with it. And then on top of all that, Buck just decides to barrel right through everything. So that's going to fill, altogether, the combined effort is going to fill the last two wedges. As you guys pass through this huge current of ghosts swirling around the bottom of the canal, you do see them just sort of part around you, like you're a rock in a stream. They're not getting anywhere near you. Even this ghost that you brought as your shield, they're not really getting near that ghost either, because you're already physically dispersing them with your disperser, and they don't want to get near you because of the charms. So you guys get through pretty quickly. And now you find yourself staring down at a large humanoid form wearing a nice suit with its face completely broken open and a beam of electroplasmic energy shooting out of it perpetually.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
He could speak in our brains. Does he do that?
At this time, he does not.
Okay. I will produce my manacles.
Do your manacles do something special?
Nope.
Okay. You're just gonna manacle him?
I'm gonna manacle his hands and legs.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna do a luck check to see if the manacles are anywhere near big enough. It will add a dice since you did know what you were dealing with when you came here, but just one.
So one dice.
No, I rolled it. Yeah, I rolled one die, and I added one because of your foreknowledge of his size. But no, these manacles still don't fit. You just couldn't find any big enough. He was, like I said last time we played, he was literally 2 guys wide. Like, he's huge. So yeah, you can't manacle him. However, he's not moving anyway. And as you look at this beam shooting out of his face, you realize it's not just shooting out. There also seems to be energy going in.
Steve, maybe I should clarify what the actual purpose of the manacles were for.
Okay.
Holding him down, restraining him would have been a benefit if he was hostile, but the real purpose is for towing. So I'm not actually... So, like, if he's manacled like this, there's a bar here, right, that I can hook onto.
Right. Okay. So the manacles are physically too small to clamp around his giant wrists. But if you want, like, you have hooks that you could hook into his open face or under his arms. You also could use your manacles to, like, wrap around and then hook them to themselves, and then.
Yeah. So let's do that then.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I say that's easily done. No roll required, and then you can hook him up.
Okay. He's wenched. I think what I should do is I'm gonna, like, tell Braid to go back up, and I'm gonna watch, and I'll come up when I think everything is okay. Like, once I see him moving and he's started going, and I think he's been complicated down here.
Okay.
Unless Braid has any other ideas.
I am concerned about this ectoplasmic flow situation going on here. I want to check and see if this is formed a spirit well. I'm not sure if I need an insight or a study check to do that, because this seems like a lot of ectoplasmic energy for this thing to be pumping out and pumping back in at this volume if it's been going this long.
Yeah. So what would you like to roll for that?
Let's do, would this be study or survey? I
Bless you.
have to get the lay of the land in terms of what I'm looking at, what kind of ectoplasmic event I'm looking at here.
Again, it's players that make the call, but if you're asking my
Okay.
opinion, this is survey, because study is something
Right.
you do in a library with books. You're
Yeah.
actually looking at a thing in the field.
Sounds good. And I am going to add 2 stress and push myself.
Okay.
This definitely seems like a time to do that.
All right.
Okay. I've got a 1, a 4, and a 5. So 5 is the highest.
Okay, so here's what you know. I was supposed to tell you the vectors on that. It was risky standard, so you're fine. But
Okay.
here is what you know, both from your training and from your previous experience with this thing, and from what you're looking at right now. It was literally a robot powered by ghosts, run by a demon.
Yep.
So, and you know from the time that you put on your mask and looked at it that there were hundreds of these ghosts. The ghosts that you're looking at here in this vortex are more than were in the robot.
That's
So yes, it is drawing ghosts to it, which, Jeanette made mention of to Severin. And it is almost certainly forming a spirit well.
Is that a bad thing? Cody asks, not Buck.
Yes. It's a ghost hotspot, and I don't remember exactly. I'm trying to find
252.
back to, thank you, 252.
Oh.
Yeah, it's an actual rift in reality when it forms, and it might create another demon or cause another demon to break through.
Yeah, mythically, like in legend, spirit wells are spawning grounds for demons. In this case, there was already a demon here.
Yeah.
I think Jason has to step away.
Okay.
I'm still listening.
All right.
The cat yell.
The cat. Always the cat. Well, no, earlier it was the dog.
Earlier it was the cricket.
Oh, yeah. It's an animal-heavy night.
It sure is.
I had a whole Charybdis on stream and no one saw.
No, we were on break at the time.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going to... I don't really have anything I can do with this information right now.
No, you can't even talk.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you can, but only you could hear it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be... Buck gets the hooks in, and I'm going to say that I've advised us to move very slowly. Like, there should be 2 stages to this plan. Stage 1 is get it loose from the canal floor and anything it may be caught on, and then phase 2 is towing it. So we're not going to just yank it and go.
Yeah, that's why I brought a shovel with me.
Right.
You did?
Load says I can.
Yeah, you can. You gonna start digging?
Well, it depends. There's a little bit of a, okay, a flashback. We have a whole, I'm going to send Braid up to say, okay, start going, but be very sensitive to what I'm communicating by tugging on my thing, right? So it's 1 means go, 2 means stop, and then if you hear me, pulling it all the way and, non-stop, that means I'm dying. Come get me.
So 1 means A, 2 means B, 26.
Yes.
I'm dying, help.
All right. Are we ready to start?
A group action.
Yeah,
group action.
Cody has suggested a zero stress flashback to just establish an extra part of the communication system. So Braid,
Yeah.
now that it's linked, you go back up to the boat, and yes, we will do a group action.
All right.
Cody's down there, or Buck is down there with a
My
shovel.
boy is being difficult. Yeah,
All right.
fuck down.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
know.
I think it's like everyone talks about what they're going to contribute, and then that gives me dice based off of that, right? If I recall. Let's be
Yeah.
honest, it's 11-10. I don't want to look it up.
Yeah, but you're right.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, each of you decides what you're going to contribute to the action. You all roll, and we basically count all of your numbers together. And if multiple sixes come up, even across your 3 rolls, then it counts as a critical success.
Okay, so I have 2 jobs. Tell us when to go and stop, and to also use my shovel to dislodge Robot whenever he is stuck.
Okay?
Okay. I actually, not to say no, but I think I can actually be more help if I'm still down in the canal with you until this thing is free of the floor. So I would actually want to be, I'd like to do a survey to see if there's any other like hidden thing or not obvious thing that this robot could be caught on, and to deal with it before we start yanking upwards.
Oh, very cool.
There is not. There's nothing.
Okay.
There's nothing he's caught on. It's clearly visible.
Okay.
He's literally just very heavy and lying on the bottom of a canal.
All
I'm
right.
surprised there's not more debris.
I mean, there's some like stuff swirling around, but there's no like vines or things grabbing him or anything like that. And plus, that's already the stated purpose of Buck being down there with the shovel, is to clear away anything that might be sticking him to the ground. So I'm going to say that you also staying down there to point at stuff for Buck to move is not going to be like additionally helpful.
Well, I also want to keep an eye on what happens to this spirit well when we move the thing.
Okay.
And just to be, if I can't survey for physical, then survey for any sort of ghosty effect. Like if this thing's going to like slice through us like a laser when we start moving it.
Okay, so in that case, how about this for the division of labor? Severin and Jeanette move the boat.
Yeah.
Buck's 2 jobs are now split up between 2 people. Buck, you're just there with the shovel to try and keep the thing moving, but the go, stop, wait commands are going to be coming from Braid.
Okay.
Since she's down there specifically so that she can be smart.
Yeah, very good. I probably would have fucked it up.
Well, we'll still see.
All right, so let's get everybody's rolls for that.
Okay. I'm going to use survey for that.
Okay.
Oh, what skill was I using? Oh, rec. Duh.
You can use rec.
Nets.
Yes!
We got a 6.
I got a 6.
All right.
I got 5.
I'm having a good night.
Okay, so Severin, you are mostly just manning the winch while Jeanette drives the boat. You're not able to read the signals of the pulling ropes very well while the boat's in motion. And this is a part of the plan that you guys didn't think through that well, and you're realizing it right now. However, lucky for you, nobody's saying stop or save us. You're pretty sure of that. So, Buck, you do see, even though nothing's really holding this guy, there is some suction just from the silt and mud on the bottom of the canal, and you're able to like break him free with the shovel. Braid, you see something very strange as you're just watching this creature, robot thing get dragged up off the bottom of the canal. It is leaving behind like echoes of itself that don't stay, but it's almost like there's what I would call on film a ghosting effect, even though that word might be confusing here. But like it's leaving, after images. Thank you. It's leaving after images of itself as it gets pulled away, and then the ghosts that are surrounding it are also leaving after images, and it's almost like moving it. It's causing a strobe effect in its motion. So it is moving, but it's moving in a very unnatural, like supernatural looking way.
I have a question. This
Yes,
might
Bob.
add just how you describe it. So I'm just essentially traveling behind it. How am I because I'm walking in the after images, essentially behind this thing. Are those solid? Like, is Braid seeing me walk through them?
I would say you don't have to be walking in the after image. You could be walking next to it. But I would say yes, Braid is seeing you walk through them. If you pass through a spot where an after image is, you walk right through it.
Yeah, I imagined I couldn't see them, A, because I wasn't looking for them, and B, because I'm flinging mud everywhere.
Yeah, you wouldn't necessarily notice them.
Yeah, okay. Wow. Okay. That's a crazy image, actually.
Cinematic.
All right, I'd like to go back up to Severin now, because we've been spending a lot of time on the bottom of the canal. Severin, as you have dropped your hooks into the water and you're looking from where you're at, you've got like lines going down to the backs of their suits, and then also you have the air hoses going down, and then also you have these two ropes with the hooks on the other end of them for the guy going down into the water, and then you've got this electric engine with a ghost driving it, and you're just and you're in the emptiest part of the canal because nobody goes there, and everyone can see you.
And I'm assuming the emptiest part of the canal is going to come with me.
Well, maybe, but before you get far enough to notice that, there is a shout across the water from a blue coat vessel, which says, "Ahoy there! What are you doing to the canal?"
We're just doing some standard salvage. That's all. We're just salvaging.
You see these blue coats very much on the edge of the circle, not coming in. Yeah. They look at each other. "Do you have a salvage permit?"
You got a license.
Sure I do, if you want to come see it.
Show it to. Hold it up.
Wait, no. Pardon me, sweetie. You gotta go down for a sec.
Oh man.
I reach into my vest, and I whip out that warrant I had folded up, and I wave it at them.
Okay.
I take it back, and I fold it back up, and I put it in my vest.
Okay, you know what? Risky, great. Roll for that to see how they take it.
Right? What is this? What are you using? It'd be sway, I think, yeah?
It probably will be.
Yo, is there a devil's bargain? Man's out here desperate.
I think Braid's the only one with a point in sway. It was like the last thing she did in our session 3 was take a point in sway.
I don't think I
need to
did.
push myself.
You said you were on camera.
One die.
Okay, push yourself.
Yeah.
I can offer you a devil's bargain here.
Yeah, offer me a devil's bargain.
If you give it, you can ask Jeanette to float your permit across the water to them. And this would have the effect of making it seem to them like you were really trying to show them the permit. So if you succeed, it would make it a great effect rather than a standard effect. However, if you fail, it would mean that they would see the warrant for your arrest instead of the permit.
Go for it. Go for it.
Momento.
We're daring, remember.
Yeah, you're right.
We're daring, but fuck it.
Yeah!
Yeah, all right.
I'm daring and I am stupid.
All right.
But not these dice. These dice. So I got a 2 and a 5.
That
is usually a success.
Yes.
It's just not a critical success.
No, it's not a crit, but you have succeeded. Yeah, so you achieve great effect. You hold the thing out to Jeanette and gesture for her to take it over to them. She takes your paper with both hands because it's hard for her to hold paper, and she floats out over the water. And these guys standing here above the fear vortex spirit well, seeing a ghost fly towards them with a salvage permit, just go, "Oh, that's all right, sir. We can see it from here. Everyone clear the way for the salvage boat. Everyone clear the way." And the effect of this roll is that these bluecoats will actually get people out of your way, even as you do now start to notice that the emptiest part of the water does follow you. As I'm going to turn on the map again. You get this thing out of here. You take it south a little bit into the canal. The bluecoats sort of leave you alone after you get out into the corner there. But everyone else just like panics and runs, or, boats really fast out of your way. You get to a little tunnel that you have been in before and take this thing up to the back steps of the Dimmer sisters' house. They meet you there, and they don't see your cargo because it's at the bottom of the canal, but you have brought it. Braid and Buck are able to able to get back into the boat, and thanks to your winches, you're able to pull this thing up. And your contact with the Dimmer sisters, whose name is Roslyn?
It is Roslyn.
Roslyn. Yep. Meets you there at the steps, and as you pull this thing up, you see her eyes go wide. She is obviously being affected by this fear demon, just as you guys are. And she looks from it to you and back down to it and says, "You've created a portable spirit well."
Yeah, I did.
That definitely seems like we should get our coin back.
"Thank you." And she snaps her fingers, and some people come out and pick up the guy, and one of them screams and runs off into the night. And but you guys are able to leave. The next day, the strange duo comes back to you and delivers unto you the other copy of your warrant. You have eliminated your wanted level and cleared up traffic for La Manche.
I feel like that is like we get a ton of rep with everybody for that. In like the grand scheme of things, because everyone saw us.
Yeah.
Who were those psychos in the middle of the water?
Yeah, it goes. Your rep with the blue coats goes from -2 to -1. Your rep with the Dimmer Sisters goes from 1 to 2. And you gain a level of rep with the Spirit Wardens.
Now that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was a rep mission. It's okay. We don't always need coin.
Yeah. In fact, you lost coin on this one, but you are going to earn it back in the jobs you will get now that you are no longer wanted.
Yeah.
Also, did we actually gain, like, rep?
Yeah, I'm probably misusing terms.
No, because that's, we are, I think, 1 rep away from leveling up as smugglers.
Yes, you definitely gain a rep. Because, like Cody said, you just did this in full view of everyone. Yeah.
How
like some
daring.
fucking idiots.
How daring.
Yes. We're about 5 minutes from our official ending time. If you guys would like, we can do downtime stuff now, or we can save that for next time we play.
Next time we play, I'll be honest. I feel like none of us really pushed ourselves that hard, so all of us should be like under half.
Yeah,
So
nobody
we're
took
just
too
probably
much
gonna do
stress.
training.
Yeah, I
too
think I
much
took the
stress.
most at 3.
I took 2.
I took the most at 4.
Oh, out of 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll still be fine.
No, it's not that. No, I mean, I
Yeah.
just want to do it now because, like, what we've done is fresh in our heads.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Um,
All right. So are you going to engage in your vice?
well, first we pay off, then we heat,
Yeah,
then
the payoff.
we entangle.
The payoff already
So the
happened.
payoff, we get 2 rep.
Yeah.
Was this a higher tier score?
No.
Like, what tier score was this?
That's a good question because your target was literally a thing.
I don't think it can be lower than our tier because we're still tier 0.
Yeah, you know what? I'll call it tier 1.
Leave it. Yeah, I know. Back off. So we should be getting 3 rep for that, which will take us 2 back around.
Yep.
I'll check there.
And then you got the faction
we lost the
relationship
wanted
benefits. Yeah, you lost your wanted level. You got the faction relationship benefits that I mentioned. You do not gain any heat. Your heat should already be at 0 because
Yeah.
your wanted level eliminated all your heat
Yeah.
from last time. So
Yeah.
you did not gain any heat from this. The only real blue coats you encountered were the ones that came to your place, and they know you're off limits now, plus the ones in the boat who are just terrified of you.
So I'm going to roll for entanglements. Honey, back down. Roll dice equal to your wanted level and read. But our wanted level's 0, so we're rolling 0 dice.
Right.
Okay, so we're not getting entangled in anything.
Correct.
I'm still working on that stuff. I know. So then we moved. No, I don't want to lose that. So we're moving to downtime, and between scores, we got 2 downtime activities each.
Yep. So I believe Buck and Braid indicated they both just want to train.
I hadn't said anything yet, but I think I'm going to start on a new long-term project.
Okay. What is it?
I think that I have to under what I described for how I acquired the ectoplasmic dispersal, that under the terms I acquired it, I think it was clearly a loan and I have to give it back.
Yeah.
But I have had enough time dealing with it that I think this is so freaking cool. I've had enough time to study it, and I want to start building my own.
Okay.
So I can have it as part of my permanent equipment.
All right. Call that an 8 clock and put a tick on it. I'll have you put that on your own sheet, so we'll have it for next time.
Will do. Okay.
Okay.
Then, if I do only one training, what does that get me?
So it'll give you. You can mark 1 XP for an attribute or your playbook, and that's 2 XP if you're marking prowess because of our crew training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you mentioned
Really,
that.
honey? Really, honey? Go.
So what are you putting your EXP point into, Bird?
I'll put it into prowess and double it.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh wow, I really can be a menace very quickly.
Well,
I mean, I already kind of am, but...
Yeah. I remember I was watching the video from session 3, and session 2 was when you broke this guy's face and threw him in the water. And then in session 3, you got to the Foundation, and your question to me was, who's the most dangerous person here? I said, you.
Well, yeah, like on the playbooks, they suggest certain like intel gathering questions, right?
Yeah, and that was like, you were surrounded by nerdy little scientists. You're like, who's the most dangerous person here? But no one there was a physical threat to you.
Yeah, in case it wasn't clear and the audience really wants to know, I am double training prowess.
Okay.
Just to keep it short and easy.
And, well, Cody, you can train a given XP track only once per downtime.
Oh, I didn't know
You can't
that.
double train, but you've got to train in something else.
Alright, I'll just put one to my playbook. Yeah, I gotta advocate for EXP. I'll be honest, I didn't earn any EXP for this.
Well,
I didn't make any desperate rolls. I just kind of showed up and hooked up a dead guy to a
Alright, so
right.
I'm going to train prowess, and I think I'm going to indulge my vice a little bit. I want to get rid of this stress.
Okay, roll that.
So
Oh, sorry,
I've gone to just a really nice restaurant. I know I'm dipping into my own savings a bit here, but hey, I want to enjoy myself a bit. And getting rid of 1 stress.
All right. No overindulging this time.
Not this time. Now we're end of session.
Yep.
Now we're doing EXP points.
Okay.
So you're going to go through the... you see the little XP thing on your sheet?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of session, for each item below, mark 1 XP, 2 if you did it more than once. Honey, can you back the fuck down, please?
There's an
I
obnoxious
thought that was
fly.
my cat.
No, that's he wants to get all up in on stuff because he's a sweetie. So I'm just going to go first here. So
Go for it.
I think I did address a challenge with violence, or at least the threat of violence.
Yeah, you produced a weapon on your ghost lady.
Yeah. I did express my background through that flashback to my time at war.
Absolutely.
I don't think I really struggled with my issues stemming from my vices or traumas this session.
No, I would agree.
So I'm gonna drop. Oh, baby. You know what? But will that work? Sorry, I want to look something up real quick because I'm curious if our crew training. No, because that's only for downtime. So I'm going to dock a couple in my playbook. And Cody.
I can go. I'm ready.
I
Cody,
didn't realize. No, mine's
I
real
just
simple.
figured we'd do them out
No,
loud.
go for it, Cody.
Yeah. Every time I did not make any desperate rolls today. I did not address anything with violence or coercion.
Yes, you
I
did.
did not.
You used wreck to barrel through the ghosts there.
Okay.
You did that quite violently, I would say.
I walked up slowly and down smashed. Yeah, I really just that was it. I just get 1 EXP this time.
Okay.
If I'm being totally honest. The other two being express my beliefs, stress, heritage, or background, or struggle with my vice or trauma. I'm just generally kind of cold, but I didn't make it explicit, so I feel like I don't really get any XP there.
Okay. And Braid?
Okay. Well, I did address challenges with knowledge or arcane power, and using ghosts to shield us. I think I also expressed my background, talking about my family's Leviathan hunter background, and that being the route that I got a hold of this electroplasmic disperser.
Yeah.
And but I didn't have any desperate actions. I didn't have any vice or trauma issues, so that means 2 XP for me.
All right.
And we're not quite done. So, crew XP. Did we execute a successful smuggling or acquire new clients or contraband sources?
No.
We now have a portable soul well.
No, you don't have it.
On retainer.
Well, we don't have it. But I'd say we just got +1 with the Spirit Wardens. I'd say that's acquiring a new client.
Yeah, I'd let that stand, sure.
Okay. Boom. Cool.
We also got we got 2 new diving seats that we definitely own.
They fully took those back. Like they took those back so hard that even if you didn't give them back, they were just gone the next time you went to your barge.
Yeah.
Did we contend with challenges above our current station?
The overall mission was higher than our thing.
Yeah, I say yes because you not only did you deal with something no one else in the city was willing to deal with, you also discovered a new thing. A portable spirit well.
We deserve a peace prize.
So
you advanced science.
So would you consider that one thing or 2 things?
I would consider that one thing.
Okay. Then did we bolster our crew's reputation and or develop a new one?
Hell yes.
Yeah, we
I
definitely
think we
bolstered
did that.
it.
Yeah.
You
I think
waived
there are
our
gonna be
own
some
bounty.
locals in the occult underground here talking about the stupid fucking shit we've done.
Waving your warrant at the cops and saying it was a salvage permit. That's the kind of thing that gets drinks bought for you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but do I really frequent those kind of places?
Buck does.
Braid does. And Braid's vice is alcohol, so it's too bad that she's not the one who pulled that one.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And you know what, Steve? Would you call the pulling this, like waiving that salvage permit and are dealing with this fucking spirit vortex, separate bolsters of our crew's reputation.
Yes.
Cool. And last but not least, did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of our crew?
No people.
And yet, once again, we are coerced into transporting the same damn thing.
Sure, I mean,
I
yeah,
feel like that is very
this
much
thing,
the
how many
essential nature of our
fucking
crew at
times?
this point.
I mean, I would say no on this one because
Alright.
I'm inclined to agree unless
You're
Sarah or Cody have a good.
That's all
Like-
good.
Yeah, you're a crew of smugglers, and you took basically a repair job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, our crew's really close to leveling up again.
That's
Woohoo!
good. Well done, everybody. Next week, I believe we have Morkborg again.
Yep, that we do.
All right.
I think it's right now. It's just you and Mia, right?
That's what I see on the sheet. Either of you guys want to play Merkborg?
It would just be you and Mia.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, and I'm running it.
And Jason's
Oh,
running.
you're
it.
running it.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I'll have to check my schedule.
Let us know. All right, gang. Yeah, you guys think about it, and anyone else watching also think about it. We will see everyone next week. I'll see everyone Friday for D&D, and peace out.
Life forever.
Good night.